believe that my dad was hiding this. Earlier this month, I was looking for some old tapes of my dad's for inspiration. I am a film student, and my final grade was for me to make a movie. The movie was supposed to be about 15 minutes long. It could be any genre we wanted to pick. I wanted to be a director, just like my dad is. He has been ahead of some successful movies. He is my hero, my inspiration, my role model. He was the reason why I picked this career to make my dad proud. When my dad was in film school, he had similar assignments as me, so I went into the basement and went through some VHS tapes he had done to get inspiration from him. There was about 6 student projects. He had they all labels except for one. I was confused. My dad has always an organized person, always clean and neat. So I was surprised when it didn't have a label. I shrugged it off. I went and played the other tapes, leaving that one for last, thinking it probably just a blank tape. I watched all the other tapes and wrote notes and ideas until they was the last tape. I picked it up and put it in. And just like all the other beginning of the tapes, they was static, then a cheap, low-budget intro. But this one didn't have one. It was this girl with cuts and bruises all over her. She looked rough and looked horrified. My eyes widened as this girl begged for her life. I was impressed by her acting. It seemed so real. Then a younger version of my dad came into the frame. He had a large butcher knife in his hand. He smirked. I wasn't taken aback or anything. My dad was in all his little projects. It was normal. The girl was tied up. She laid in a bathtub, pleading for her life. I got closer to the screen, memorized of the acting going on. She kicked and screamed. My dad spoke with a sinister smile on his face. No one can hear you scream. Your dreams come true. You always wanted to be the final girl. He laughed and walked to the camera, grabbing it and zooming in on her bloody face, tears streaming down her face. You're a star, take it all in, 'cause it had the last time you be on screen. He put the camera back up and walked over to the girl. She was screaming more and more, begging. He smiled. He raised the knife, not 1, not 2, not even 3, over and over again, until the girl's blood filled the bathtub. It was just like that scene in American Psycho, where Patrick Bateman murdered his co-worker with an axe. He was covered in blood. He then looked at the camera and walked to it. That, the end of Act 3, cut. Then, static. I was in my seat for at least 30 mins. I couldn't get up. I stumbled up the stairs from the basement, going to the sink, and throwing up. I was sick. I was disgusted. I was terrified. My dad came out of his office, seeing me covered in my own vomit. "What the hell happened to you?" he asked, coming over to comfort me. I jumped from him, stumbled into a wall. I was scared of my dad, my role model. My inspiration was now a nightmare. "What is the matter with you?" he yelled at me. I ran to my room, locked the door, put a dresser in front of it. All I knew is the person I looked up to all my life was a murderer, or worse, a serial killer. It'd been some weeks. I think he knows he won't talk to me. I have hidden in my room. I think he'd get me just like he did that poor innocent girl.